What's your excuse today? You don't have enough time? You don't have enough energy? You don't have enough money? Are you too tired? You didn't get enough sleep? Is that what's really stopping you? Or is what's stopping you, you? In this social media world that we live in today, it's so easy to lose your way. I look around at so many people today and can see that they just don't know who they are. It's easy to see the life that we live in today through some Snapchat filter. To look around at everybody else and say, that's what life looks like. That life looks perfect. So they go around and start acting like other people, doing what other people do, taking a selfie in front of an expensive car, put 1 million filters on the picture and upload that to Instagram to tell the world, this is who I am. The problem is, behind closed doors, they know that that's not who they are. So they end up lost, wandering around in a lie that they created. And the only thing to keep the lie going is more lies, more pictures, more filters, until one day they look around and realize that they have lost themselves along the way. They have no idea who they are or could be because they've been trying for so long to be someone else. The difference between the people who are happy and the people that ain't is that the people that are happy choose to focus on the solutions to the problems they face rather than the problems themselves. You always have a choice. You could decide to focus on the or decide to look for the solution. It's all about perspective.
Dreaming is good. Having goals is good. But sooner or later, there comes a time when you must act. Dreams without action, that's the path to delusion. Without action, these dreams and goals will fill your life with a shitload of negative emotions. Things like anxiousness, nervousness. They will fester inside you and drain your energy. The reason most people don't take action is simple. It's fear. Fear of failure, fear of success. And the only way to overcome this and to stop making bullshit excuses why you shouldn't act is to make not taking action more painful than taking action. So think about it right now. Let's think of some things that might happen if you try to do the thing that you've been wanting to do for years. Okay, well, it might not work the first time. It might not be as easy as you thought. People might laugh at you and talk about you behind your back. You might get hurt. But if you keep taking action, in spite of all this stuff that might happen, guess what? Sooner or later, you're going to start winning. Constantly tell yourself how much worse things could be, and you can actually be thankful for the way you've got things at the moment. Your world and your life can truly be anything you make it, but you've got to make it. Nothing can be achieved, conceived until first it's believed. You have to believe it to see it. Amazing things happen when you believe you have something. Your brain actively goes out to make it happen. It starts to notice little subtle opportunities that you would have otherwise deleted because it knows it's got a job to do to get you what you want. People take action and get done when they have had enough. They decide and they say, that's it, I'm done, no more. No more will I be treated like this. No more will I be overweight. No more will I be in a job that I hate. Just decide, man. Making action a must will piss all over the fear you have, I promise you that. At the moment, your brain thinks like this. Trying this new thing will be hard, it will be risky, etc., etc. Basically, associating taking action with pain. So, what you need to do is to train your mind and focus on the pain you'll get if you don't act. And to reinforce that, focus on all the pleasure that you will get if you act. So it'll sound something like this. It'll be a good challenge. You'll learn something new. You'll meet new people, see new places. If you do that and you take massive action every time, your life will never be the same again, I promise.
We've heard the old expression, don't count your chickens until they're hatched. No, we have the ability to count our chickens long before they're hatched. Because we know, we have faith, we believe. We use the law of averages. There's bound to be at least so many. Out of every dozen, out of every 100, out of every 50. So it's possible to see the end, then begin. So here's what we want to do in our goal-setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. I was in business with Bob Cummings, the old movie star, for a while. He said, decide what you want and then act as if you already had it. And being an actor, he could give us a few tips on act. Decide what you want and act as if it was already yours. Now, the reason we can act thinking that it's already ours is because not only can we vision the end results, we can also vision the beginning of making it real. So we don't start till it's finished, but it is possible for human beings to finish something before they start. Just jot this down. It's a bit philosophical, but we'll cover it before we take our lunch break. And that's this. Human beings are the only life on earth that has this incredible capacity to change the course of your life. No other life form can do that. Every other life form except human seems to operate simply by instinct and the genetic code. In the winter, the goose flies south. How often? Answer, every winter. If you said to the goose, hey, it'd be better this year to go west, he ignores that advice. And the reason is because he cannot make choices and listen to advice of something that might be better. He has to obey instinct and the genetic code. But now jot this down, not human beings. Human beings can alter the course of their life. Human beings can live one way for 5 years, tear up that script, live a totally different way the next 5 years. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Second 6 years, I wound up rich. Someone says, how did you do that? Here's number one. I discovered I was not a goose. Someone says, don't you have to do the second 6 years like you did the first 6 years? And jot this down. No. No, you don't have to live the second 6 years like the first 6. You can use all the information and all the advice and repairing all of your mistakes and adopting a new and refined philosophy so that the next 6 years can be totally different than the last 6. No other life form can do this. See, if you were a tree, you'd be stuck. As a tree, if you used up all the nourishment that was around you and you couldn't change location, see, you would die. But that's not true. Human beings can change location, go north, south, east, west, live here for a while, live somewhere else for a while. So that's a note to make. You can greatly alter the course of your life. Now here's the next note to make. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is where? This is for mature people now. If you keep up your present disciplines and keep up the present pace that you're on, where will you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, hey, I haven't really thought about that. So now make this note. In 5 years, here's the probability. You will either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. Well-designed or undesigned. And I promise you, 5 years from now, you really don't want to arrive at an undesigned destination. Because you may very well wind up wearing what you don't want to wear, driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live, maybe doing what you don't want to do.
I mean, if you think about it, there's really a big difference between just merely achieving your goals and living a life of passion. I mean, where you love your life, where you love your career, you love your family, your friends, the people around you, where you look forward to each and every day. Maybe ultimate passion is when you can get to that point where no matter what happens in your life, even when the biggest challenge happens, even when the greatest injustices occur, you just grab a hold of them and you suck the juice out of that experience. You say to yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I apply this? You find a way to use whatever life gives you to create a life of even greater meaning. Now, by the way, is that what most people do? Well, you and I both know the answer is no. I mean, every day you look around and walk around and you see people around you that look half dead. I mean, it makes me sad. There seems to be no joy in their life. There's no drive in these people. They're kind of just surviving. It's like somewhere along the line they settled for so much less than they could be. And maybe it happened many years ago. Maybe years ago they had great goals and great dreams and a great drive for a life of meaning. But what happened to them? Well, what almost happened to me, what may have happened at one time in your life. They had big goals, they had big dreams, they went for it, they were excited, and they pushed hard. Maybe they disciplined themselves. Maybe they gave their all, and they were disappointed or maybe even betrayed. I know I felt that many times in my life, and I'm sure you have as well. But what do you do with that? That's what determines whether you develop a passionate life or one that you have to constantly make excuses for, or one where inside of you have to settle and say, those people out there that are so excited, so passionate, it's phony, it's fake, it's just a bunch of positive thinking. See, what happens for a lot of people is they don't want to be disappointed anymore. So what they do is they disassociate. They start saying, oh, don't get your hopes up. hey, don't get overly excited about this stuff. Come on, what are you, naive? They become skeptical. They become pessimistic. But the truth is, when people say they're skeptical or they're pessimistic, what they're really saying is, I'm fearful. I mean, people who are skeptical are just afraid of being disappointed. They're afraid of being hurt. They're afraid to feel that feeling that comes from not winning. But listen to me. In any sport, if you're going to be victorious, you've got to be willing to risk that loss, that sense of pain. That also, by the way, that pain may be the very thing that gives you the drive to move forward and achieve more than you ever have before in your life. Michael Jordan is someone I've had the privilege of spending some time with. I mean, talk about a genius in the basketball ring, a genius in any sport. He's the best that probably has ever existed there. And when I talked to him the first time, I said, listen, Michael, tell me, your career's had many highs, but when did it just explode to the highest level? I mean, to where you knew your game was at its best. He said, Tony, the biggest thing that's driven me, honestly, was pain. He said, when I lost for the third time in those championships to the Detroit Pistons, he said, it ripped out my soul. It hurt so bad inside. He said, I sat there and I cried on the bus. I felt like somebody had stolen my pride. I felt like no one else had given as much as I had. I felt so bad inside. And you know what happened? Something inside of me just shifted. He said, I just was tired of feeling that way. And I decided I was going to go out that summer. I was going to lift weights and become stronger than I ever had been before. And the next year, I was going to dish out the pain. I wasn't going to take it. That we were going to win no matter what. He said, I converted all of that pain into absolute drive. And you know what happened. He won 3 national championships in a row for the Bulls. Took a little break from basketball and came back and did it again. I mean, that's a real passion. Finding a way inside yourself when you're exhausted, when you're beat, when someone else seems to have more power or more skill or they're having more luck. And somehow you reach down inside and you convert the pain into power, into drive. Results in life don't come from being motivated. Results in life come from taking action, and that's where the rubber really meets the road. That's where the results really show up.
Remember the list I came up with to explain why I wasn't doing well? One of the items that was high on my list was prices. I told Mr. Schoaf that my problem was everything costs too much. However, he soon set me straight on that by saying, Mr. Rohn, that is not the problem. Let me tell you the real problem. You can't afford it. It's not it. If you keep dealing in it, you will always be broke, unhappy, and disillusioned because you will never have enough. Don't deal in it. Deal in you. When I finally learned to change my thinking from it to me, I changed my whole life. What a life-changing experience to finally meet someone who doesn't hesitate to put it on you or on your tendency to indulge in blame or procrastination. That is indeed a banner day when you meet someone who has learned how to skillfully and carefully attack the same problem that has kept you from doing very well, or kept you beneath your potential, or kept you off balance as to your own self-worth. It is so easy to mistake appearances for reality, to confuse the symptom with the real cause. Along with blame comes the third negative tendency we want to eliminate: excuses. Guess how many excuses we have? 1 million. And in the course of a lifetime, we will probably use them all, unless somebody finally comes along and blows all those excuses apart to make us come face to face with the real reasons for our current dilemma. Until that time, we will probably use another 1 million excuses to prevent ourselves from having $1 million. Here's one of the major questions I'll pose to you during this program. What are you going to do starting today that will make a difference in how your life works out? Good question, right? What are you going to do? See, if you don't do something starting today that will make a difference, guess what? It's going to be the same. And you can guess what the next 5 years are going to be like. Just look at the last 5. The next 5 years will be like the last 5 unless you, Major Key, make all the changes. Now here's another key question. What can you do starting today that will make a difference? That's a good question. What can you do? What can you do with economic chaos? What can you do with massive disappointment when it's all gone wrong? What can you do when it won't work, when you've run out of money, when you don't feel well, and it's all gone sour? What can you do? Well, let me give you the broad answer first. Here's what you can do. You can do the most remarkable things, no matter what happens. Hey, people can do incredible things, unbelievable things. A man can do the most amazing things with the most impossible circumstances. A woman can do the most remarkable things with the most disastrous circumstances. Hey, I found out kids can do remarkable things. That is, if they have remarkable things to do. I also found out if they don't have remarkable things to do, there's no telling what they'll do. Now here's why humans can do remarkable things. It's because they are remarkable. They are not dogs, animals, fish, birds, amoebas. Humans are different than any other creation. When a dog starts with weeds, he winds up with weeds, and the reason is because he's a dog. But that's not true with human beings. Human beings can turn weeds into garden. That's one of the major differences, being a human versus being a dog.
You can be successful, or you can sign a record deal. You can sign a basketball contract. You can get a promotion. You can open a company. Can't be great without a girl. You got to have a woman. It's just they do so many things. They do so many things we don't do. Women are amazing, man. Seriously. No, listen to me, fellas. Listen to me. For real. When you have a wife that's the right one, that's a powerful chick. She look out for you. She cover you. Where you going? I said, I'm going, sir. Look at your elbows. I can't see my elbows. What is you talking about? Look at your elbows. How? Put some lotion on, Steve. If I didn't have her, I'd be out somewhere. Then I turn around. Next thing I know, I'm on TMZ. Steve Harvey. Them ass elbows. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, see, I've been up here 45 minutes. I told you. So sorry about that. Sometimes that wasn't that bad, though, was it? Yeah. Y'all done heard that. I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way. I respect your company and all that you're doing. But, but let's be real, too. This ain't church. Let's just stop. This is really a ballroom at a convention center. Y'all ain't put a cross up or nothing. Did y'all open this up with a devotion? Oh, okay. Sorry. I tried to find a loophole. Did y'all open it with a devotion? Yes. Oh, okay. My bad. Real Christians in here. What was I getting ready to talk about? Oh, I'm going to tell y'all something really wonderful. Albert Einstein has a quote that changed my life. I'm going to give it to you because this is for everybody in this room, because it's something that we all have and you may have never understood it. Albert Einstein said, imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. I want you to listen to me now because this going to be my last thing. But this is so good, man. If you can get this right here, this can change it for you. Imagination is everything. It's the preview to life's coming attraction. You know what that means? That means everything you see in this world came from somebody's imagination. Everything. Somebody was talking on the phone one day and it was connected to the wall and they was walking and they went, man, I sure wish this phone would go outside. Everybody in here got a cell phone. Somebody was sitting there going, man, woo, we ought to go up there to that moon. They go up to the moon so many times now they don't even tell us when they going no more. The Wright brothers said, man, I want to fly like a bird. They laughed them out the gym. I flew over here on one of them birds. Matter of fact, you can't get here unless you come on a bird. I guess they got boats that come over here, but ain't nobody finna come to Jamaica, take a week. And if all y'all had left Jamaica, you'd have been on an airplane. Somebody imagine that. Imagination is everything. See, you've been thinking all this time that your imagination was just some hocus pocus. It ain't. I'm finna teach you something now. I want you to hear me on this one, because this is the most powerful thing that I can tell you today. Albert Einstein had that quote, but Albert Einstein took that quote out the Bible. Oh, man. Oh, this is cold.
He sends brother 1 into outer darkness, but to brother 4 and brother 10, he says, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joys of thy master. I came to tell Hillsong, there's about to be a shift. Instructions, obey rules, but masters move by instinct. Abraham, take now thy son, thine only son, and offer him up. If Abraham would obey that first command without listening for that next voice, he would have slayed his son. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Are you walking in what God has said,
Or are you walking in what God is saying? There is an instinct that causes you to bring in the harvest. There is an instinct that tells a mother when it's time to have the baby. There is an instinct that separates the good from the great. It is not their intellect. It is not what they read in the book. It is not who you know. It is the elephant is over there. Sometimes it is their type. That draws the greatness out of you. You don't even know you're great till the lion roars, till all hell breaks loose, until everybody faints and you decide something's got to be done. Sometimes it is the trouble you avoid that God is using to draw the greatness out of your life. I want you to understand that the predicament that you are in right now does not define your destiny. They're gonna believe when you do. They're gonna love you when you do. They're gonna value you when you do. I'm better than I used to be. I'm smarter than I used to be. I'm wiser than I used to be. I'm brighter than I've ever been, but I haven't mastered it yet. I'm still working on it even right now. Every now and then I relapse and go back to thinking like I used to think or feeling like I used to feel. He's not finished. They won't accept me. They won't love me. They won't accept me. They can't use me. They'll never embrace me. You'll never get anybody to embrace you till you embrace yourself. You'll never get anybody to believe in you till you believe in yourself. You'll never get anybody to love you till you love yourself. Your they might be you in disguise.
The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change.
You can do more than you think you can do. You can have more than you think you can have. The problem is not coming from what they believe, it's coming from what you believe. Oh God, I'm talking to somebody. Stop blaming people for the years you wasted.
It can be the day that turns your life around. All you need is a reason that turns you on. Today, my life changes. Now, who can do that? Anybody. When can you do it? Whatever day you pick.
You can't do anything without faith. It's impossible to accomplish anything without faith. So I need you to believe there is still time. As long as there's breath in your nostrils, as long as you can wake up in the morning.
The first step before anybody else in the world believes it is you have to believe it.
So I need you to believe.
Because if you're willing to go through all the battling you got to go through to get to where you want to get, who's got the right to stop you? I mean, maybe some of you guys got something you never finished, something you really want to do, something you never said to someone, something. And you're told no, even after you pay your dues. Who's got the right to tell you that? Who? Nobody. It's your right to listen to your gut. It ain't nobody's right to say no after you earn the right to be where you want to be and do what you want to do.
You got to do what you was called to do. You got to do what you were born to do. You got to do what works for you, because if you do what works for you, you're going to blow up. It's in your DNA. It's who you are. You are a warrior. It's time for you not to back up, not to give up, not to give in.
Even you get knocked down, you get back up, you get back up, you get back up, and you continue to throw shit against the wall.
Listen to me very carefully. You are a warrior, and it's time for you to fight. I know you have that warrior inside, and now I just need you to activate it.
Keep going. As dark as it gets, keep going. As difficult as it gets, as much as it seems as if the world is crumbling down around you and there's no way out, keep going. See, most people stop. They don't get it. They quit. They quit reaching for their dreams. I notice that there are those who are squashers of dreams. Now, I don't know why these people do this. I don't know why the naysayers or squashers do this. Grow stronger and then inspire others to become the strongest version of themselves. That's how we evolve. I go beyond the fears and limitations of other people. I control my life. No matter what road you take in life, there are always going to be things you have to do that you just don't want to do. Go and do the thing. Look, you only get this life once. Every experience that we have leads us to who we are, where we stand, and that's always the right place to be. If you can't, you must. If there's something that you can't do because there's an obstacle in your way, that means it's your responsibility to do that thing so that you can destroy the obstacle. failure is necessary. Failure is success, and success is failure. They need each other. The more failures you have, the more successes you'll have. The darker the night, the brighter the day. The harder the ball hits the ground, the higher it goes up. Pain is a beautiful thing. Challenge is what life is about. A life without challenge, a life without pain, is a life without growth. So not only do I embrace the challenge, embrace the pain, but I even look forward to it. Send me a challenge, please. Give me some challenges here, because I need to be tested. I need to be stronger. I need to grow. You know, they say there's a judgment day. I believe we face multiple judgment days while we're walking on earth. The judgment day is today. Judgment day is now. And the judgment is going to allow you to live a life of hell now, or to choose your own kingdom.
Are you satisfied with what you have produced? Is this what you want? Would you like for things to be better than this? Do you believe that you deserve better than this? Or are you content? This is it. You don't have to do anything else. That you already resign yourself in life and say, well, I'm happy. I'm not starving like the people in Calcutta. Are you allowing yourself to get off the hook like that? Or do you believe somewhere in the back of your mind or in your heart that there's some other great work for you to do? There's something else that life has for you. And that's why you're here. How do we handle this fear factor? How do we increase our self-esteem? You have to begin to fortify yourself. How do we do that? I believe that you have to begin to consciously monitor your inner conversation and start talking to yourself. Start building yourself up. Sometimes the only good things you will hear about you are the things that you say to you. So I'm saying learn to be your own booster. Start building yourself up. Start encouraging yourself. Start saying, I can do this. I can make this happen. It's a natural inclination for us to put ourselves down. See, we are born negative, I think, in a negative consciousness because we live in a negative world. So I'm saying that we have to work through the challenges of life in learning how to begin to work to fortify ourselves. Begin to guard your mind against negative programming, like turn off the television. So you've got to guard the kinds of things that you put in your mind. See, if you don't program your mind will be programmed because human beings are goal-oriented. That's why we die of broken hearts early. That's why we're running through life to early grave. Most of us go through life running scared. So we created this in our minds, false evidence appearing real. We made it real in our minds. There's nothing to fear but fear itself. That's the destructive monster. So turn off things that can contribute to your fear. Turn a deaf ear to people that all they can do is talk about how negative things are because they have bought into the consciousness of the world. Listen to things that can empower you, that can enable you to create a new reality for yourself, and a new life for yourself. What idea are you sitting on? Write your ideas down. And then, once you get that idea, take the leap. See, a lot of people get the ideas and just walk around with them. Take the leap. See, it's out here in the universe. If you don't take the plunge, I guarantee you, somebody else will. Take the plunge. Go into action. And ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised at how things will come together. You'll be surprised. Now, you're going to have some difficult challenges. I can tell you that now. Be aware of that. Things are not going to work out exactly right. For a time, they will, sometimes. And that's when life is just playing a game with you. But ladies and gentlemen, go into action with your dream. And don't avoid where the fights are. Get in the midst of the fight. And get some hickeys on your head. Get knocked down so you can learn how to fight, so you can hold your position. See, most people don't get out in the arena of life because they don't want to fight. Most people don't get out there because they don't want to get knocked down. They don't want to be dropped to their knees. But see, you're going to be dropped whether you're on the field or whether or not you're sitting on the sidelines. You're going to be dropped. So at least get dropped for something. Don't get knocked down while you're sitting down. See, that's how most people are spectators in life. You don't want to be a spectator. You want to get out in the field where the action is, and you will be amazed. After the struggle, there will be a calm period, and things will begin to click for you. Come out here with what you got. You don't have enough money? Don't worry about it. You got the dream. You got the idea. You don't have enough resources? Don't worry about it. You need some help? Don't worry about it. You get out here in the arena, someone will look at you and become inspired and say, hey, can I help you? But if you're sitting up on the bleachers, nobody's going to ask you anything.
There are many battles that we all face in life. Certain circumstances will come into your life, and these battles that we must face has different stories connected to it. These battles that we face each and every day of our lives has many things and many circumstances that sometimes we just don't feel that we're prepared for. But we must find a way. We must find a way and an understanding that this thing that we are dealing with right now in our lives is only temporary. It's temporary and it will not last forever. You must realize that you must grow enough tenacity within yourself to press on. We are all going to face many battles in our lives. And some of these battles we will not always win, but we must have the winning attitude. Regardless if we fall down, regardless if the struggle is so hard, regardless if we get pushed back a few steps, we must continue to press on. We must disconnect ourselves and stop being prisoners to the sadness, to the weakness, to the fear, to the doubt. We must become strong. We must become something unique. We must put on that suit of armor and prepare ourselves for battle. Yes, every battle cannot be won. But the winning attitude to not give up is more than enough to carry on. The places that you will go in your life, the places that you have been in your life, you have seen things that others do not understand. You have been through things that others will never be able to go through on their own. And this is what makes you special. This is what makes you unique. And this is what makes you stand out. But you are not out. You are not out of the fight. You must continue to press on, and fight with everything you have. These days and times have been so challenging. So many people have given up. So many people have given up so much of themselves. They have disconnected themselves from the reality that they are unique, that they are special, that they are blessed with this life. Life is beautiful, and you must be able to hold on to it for as long as you can, because it will not last forever. If you're holding on to stress, disconnect it. If you're holding on to fear, disconnect it. If you're holding on to sorrows, if you're holding on to weakness, disconnect it. That relationship that you are in right now may not be working out. But that doesn't mean that you can't get out and resonate yourself. Get your mind and your body in the right place. Work on you.
Don't ever give up. I don't care how dark it seems for you. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop believing. And I know sometimes that's difficult because it seems like, man, it ain't going right at all. I was reading a book T.D. Jakes has out. It's called Hope for Every Moment. It's like one of those, you seen those daily thought books? It's inspirational thoughts for every day of the year is what it is. My daughters actually gave it to me for my birthday because they've seen me change as a person over the years. I'm not guessing this, they've actually written it to me. And so they really do appreciate the change of me just becoming a better person, you know, because when you become a better person not only for yourself, but a lot of people are affected by you being a better person. Your children are affected, your wife is affected, your co-workers are affected, a lot of your friends are affected, your neighbors get affected. When you become a better person or start to make that change, it affects a lot of people. The biggest benefit of it all will probably be you. I know I've benefited the most. There are so many auxiliary benefits of just being a better person. And I've stopped saying trying to be a better person because I just got to go about the business of getting better. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm mistake-free. That's not what that is. And it doesn't mean I don't still need encouragement and I won't fall and make a lot more mistakes, because I will. But I find, man, in these books that they give me, I find so many inspirational things. And this morning when I decided to say to everybody, don't ever give up, because I know how difficult it can be, because I do understand, man, that we will all face moments and challenges in our life that's going to require us to just hold on. I wanted to encourage everybody. In this book I read, it says, well, it didn't say it, but I'm paraphrasing it now. If you ever felt like you can't find him nowhere, I mean, you ever been in a hole so dark and a situation so bad, you just felt like, man, I just can't find him nowhere, or I can't find him where I thought he was. I've actually felt that before. And I was thinking, man, well, okay, Steve, well, maybe a lot of people have been feeling that way. Maybe you ought to share your experience with them. And that's what I'm doing today. You know, maybe you've told yourself that the storm going to be over soon. See, this is the one that I used to do. I used to say, man, the storm going to be over soon. And then the sun came out and then it just left. Okay, hold on. Then the sun came out and then it just left. And then the rains just keep coming. Sometimes, man, you just go, wow. And it almost feels like God done missed his appointment. Okay. See, this is why I used to really get in trouble. I used to think, man, okay, is he not listening to me? Does he not hear me? Because I'm not only calling, I'm actually crying. I'm crying out. And I want this to be fixed now. You know, I used to think, okay, man, I've been praying about this. I've been going through this. Okay, I done said I give. I done already said I get the message. I've done said I get the point. Man, I was wrong. Do I have to keep getting beat like this? Ain't I paid enough for my wrong decision? I used to just think like that. I think he'd have moved on it by now. But what I want y'all to remember is that, and this is what I read in this book. In the book it said that God doesn't synchronize his clock by your little mortal watch. God don't synchronize his clock by your little watch you got on your wrist. God is in control of this whole thing. He does not move in a timely basis according to what you got to have. Now, he gonna fix it for you. He gonna get it together for you, but it's in his time, because he doing a whole lot of shaping and moving. And what I had to learn about when I was praying for stuff was, it ain't just me that's affected. Remember at the top where I said when you become a better person, it affects everybody? Well, guess what? When God answers a prayer, it affects everybody. See, everybody got to learn lessons along the way. And maybe he got you going through a little bit more than what it looks like they going through, because he never puts more on you than you can bear. And so he puts you in a situation that you can handle. So what you got to do is, since God don't synchronize his clock by your little mortal watch, he got a set time that he gonna bless you. The key for you is to hold on. That's the key for you, is to hold on.
I'm going to be talking to you about the power of agreement. And if I'm talking to you about the power of agreement, I got to talk about this power couple. For you see, Abraham and Sarah were a power couple. Yeah, they were a power couple before people called people a power couple. They're the only couple that's mentioned here in the hallmark of faith right up against each other. Talks about what he did, talks about what she did. Through faith also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age because she judged him faithful who had promised. Isn't it funny it didn't give Abraham the credit for the birth of the child, it gave it to Sarah, but it gave Abraham credit for the journey. It gave Sarah credit for the birth. But there had to be an agreement between them. They could not walk together, say they agree. They had to reach a level of agreement. Now let's go back and understand some things. God has designed faith to be at its maximum capacity when we come into agreement. Where we're in agreement one with another. That doesn't mean that everybody has to agree. That doesn't mean the neighbors across the street have to agree. But there has to be an agreement concerning what God has promised you, and hopefully somebody that can touch and agree with you. The Bible said, if any two of you agree as touching anything on earth, it shall be done. Coming into agreement. Not just two people coming into agreement with each other. That's nice. But two people coming into agreement with God, that's better. If the two people come into agreement with each other, that could be anything. That could be a murder. That could be homicide. That could be witchcraft. That could be anything. But if the two come in agreement with God, a threefold cord is not easily broken. So what you want to do is find somebody that can come in agreement with you, believing God for the things that he has promised you. Not looking for somebody to agree with you, because that's what's wrong with the world now. We only talk to people that we agree with. We only watch the news that we agree with. We're only friends with people who think like us, vote like us, dress like us, act like us. There is no fruition when there's sameness. There is no fruition when there's sameness. You need to have differences and come into agreement in order to give birth. If Abraham had come into agreement with Steve, there wouldn't be Isaac. If Sarah had come into agreement with Hannah, there wouldn't be Isaac, because there's sameness. There has to be differences in order for there to be fruitfulness. The reason our country is not any more fruitful than it is that we're always hanging out with the same people who have the same ideas, sharing the same thoughts, and we're looking to have fruit. You cannot have fruit that way. You can have unison, you can have agreement, but you can't give birth. Agreement is when two different things come together into agreement that they bring forth fruit. The differences complement each other. Oh, y'all don't hear what I'm saying.